Hello friends, this is tutorial number 104 in this Java programming language tutorials. Okay, in this tutorial my student Lisa sent me this assignment for Java course. We have one interesting assignment, and we will do this assignment in this tutorial. Okay, here is the problem statement. During the tax season, every Friday, Najafi accounting service provides assistance to customers who prepare their VAT returns. Okay, we have this some taxes. Okay, if the customer has annual income lesser than 25,000, will be no charges. If it is from 25,000 until 50,000, okay, charge will be $1 per minute, and otherwise the charge will be $2 per minute. Okay, and we have this. Okay, we have this. We need to create an option to continue or stop the program. Okay, we will do it later. I will not now. I will read it and present this assignment in shortcuts. We will use a lot of time for reading. Okay, let's see this important. Failure to use incremental development and the methods listed below will result in a score of 0 for the assignment, even if you have correct running program. Okay, that means that we need to implement the methods in this program. We will should this will be no problem for us. We already know how to use the methods. And okay, we have now the following list of methods. The methods of greeting. Okay, this greeting will have some message. Method name get annual income that reads the customer annual income from the user and return it to the caller. Okay, we need to use loop for that. And okay, we have a method name that gets consulting time. That that means that we need to input hour and minute, and the method must use essential loop to validate. Okay, hours can be from 0 to 5, and of course minutes can be from 0 to 60. Okay, and this means that we need to return a minute. Okay, for example, if we type 2 hours and 30 minutes, it will be 150 minutes. We need to return minutes. Okay, and we need to calculate the charge, compute the charges that receives the customer annual income and the agent consulting time in minutes, and returns the total charge to the customer. Okay, and finally we need to display all that charge. This will be interesting. Okay, let me see how it needs to look like. Okay, this will be that welcome message. Okay, income, as you can see, if we entering minus 2000, and that means that we need to type program will ask us again, because we cannot enter the negative number. That's okay. And if we type 10, after that we need to input amount of time when we type hours. If we type 10, it will run again. This will be because, as we saw, this maximum of hours can be 5. Of course, if we enter the negative number minus 4, we can do that. And if we enter 3 hours, it will be okay. And if not, after that we need to enter the minutes, but we need to enter we need to input from 0 to 60. Okay, if we entering 75, it will ask us again. If we enter the negative number, it will ask us again. Okay, 55, it's okay, because it is in a range from 0 to 60. And we will have this output of our income, total time, and the charges. this is good. And after that we need it will ask us if will we continue or not, or we will stop. Okay, we will see that later. And of course, if we continue, it will ask us again and again, of course, if we entering continue. And here, if we entering stop, we will have just a goodbye message. Okay, implementation, this implementation, okay. Okay, can accept lower or uppercase. The program, if we enter, the point here is if we entering continue, when we have this question, do you want to continue or stop? If we entering continue, it will run again. But if we entering something else, the program will stop. Okay, we can do that, but we will do it later. Now let's go to our Eclipse. And now let's we will use this test project that we used earlier. And let me see here the name of this. Okay, how we will call this? I don't know. We can call it NACE. I don't know the name of the package. Let's create a package. I don't know. New package. It will be we will call it NACE package. It will be that with S or C. It is with S. Okay, let's finish. And let's create a class. We can call it, but we can call it just or application or something else, but we can call also this class of NACE, and we can create main method. Okay, this Eclipse, we will put this down. And okay, here is our class. What we will need here, we can create, we need to input something, couple of things we will need to input. That means that we will create private static scanner. Scanner, it will be input equals to new scanner system dot in. Okay, and we will use Control Shift and O to input the scanner from the library. And first thing that we can do, let's go to the assignment again. We have, okay, we need to use these charges we will calculate later. What I want to do, we have first we will create this gridding method. Just a second, and let me see what will be the text. Okay, this will be the text of this method. First, let's just create a method. We will create public, it will be a void method, public static void. We will call it greetings. And now let's define it. But we will just a second. I will try. You can type it, but I will use copy paste here to save some time. Let me go back to Eclipse and I will just paste it, and of course we will have error because we didn't use system out print line. And let's resolve that. Okay, welcome to NACE. It can be in one line. It should be okay. Now we can use system out print or print line again. Okay, we can close the bracket here, and I can use a print, and here I can use print line to this rest of the text. And I can give a little space here, and I have error because I didn't close the quote here. And let me see here. Let me use system out. I will use print here. Customers. I can close it here. And now I can use system out. Here will be print, and here also will be print. We will close the bracket here, and now here we can use print line. I need a quote, closing bracket. It should be okay. Now we will see how it will gonna work, and we can call this method here. We will save it, and now we will see how it will gonna run. Okay, well, and I think okay, not bad. Maybe it should be better, this NACE. Let's try to see how it will look when I use this welcome to NACE. Maybe it will be with 2 lines. We have 3 lines now. Let me see how it will gonna look. I think it is better now. Welcome to NACE, and I will stay left it as it is. I think this is okay. Of course, maybe you can write it a little better. Here is the text, how it will gonna look like. Maybe you can type it better. Okay, it's your choice, or do it the same way as I did it. This would be that first method. Just a second, we have this, we resolved the first method of greeting, which is okay, and but we will need couple of as you can see, we will need a time, we will need a charge, and we need to create that variables, and of course we will have income, and we can create these variables. Okay, it can be, we can create it here. It will be integer. We will have income, we will have time, And let me see these charges. Charge, but as you can see here, we have just a second and service time. Okay, but charge, as you can see, charge here, it is a real number, and that means that okay, we have integer income and time, and a charge, we will have charge, but it will be a float number. Okay, let's create these three variables that we will need in our main method. That's the thing that we should do. Okay, we created those variables, and now let's try to define it, but using, I think that we need to do it using functions. Let me see this another method, method named getAnnualIncome. Okay, that reads the customer annual income from the user and return it to a caller. Okay, this is good, and the method must use essential loop to validate that the annual income is a positive number. Okay, we can resolve it using while or do while loop, and we need to input that income, but it will repeat if we entering, as you can see here, if we entering as we have here negative number, it will ask us again. Okay, I can use again copy paste here to save some time. Let me this getAnnualIncome. I want to create the method methods that are asked here, and also I want to have the same method name and this income, but it will be, we need to input that income. That means that it will be also public static method, but we will have it will be integer, because we want to that method to return us integer value. And let me paste this name. Okay, it is getAnnualIncome, and now we will need to define it. And how we will define it? It needs to be do while. Let's create one integer that income can be, we will define it as e, and now we can create that do while loop. Do and we can let's separate this a little. Use while this a while this a is lesser than 0. That means that it needs to be a positive number. And let me see now, I will need to see this text again, how it needs to look like. Okay, first we will need okay, this is just please enter the customer income. We will need that text. I will just paste it here, but first I will open system out print line. I think that will be enough. Okay, it will be okay. And we have an error. Let me see. Because we didn't initialize, of course, and we have this question: please enter the customer's annual income. And we need we will input this a, that we created, local variable a, equals to input dot next integer. And now that means we will input that annual income, but and we will entering, if we enter the negative number, a loop will run again, and we will have the same, we will have that question. But the point is, this is a public static integer method. That means that it needs to return an integer, and we will just return that a, and it will be returned when we entering a positive number. I think that should not be a problem. And what can we do now? How we will call that method? We will call that method first. Okay, first it will run this greetings method, but we can define this variable income will be equals, and we will call this get annual income method to define our variable income. We can now what we can do, but I need to separate this a little. Just a second, or I will need /n. I don't know if maybe I can. Just let me see how it is here. Okay, we don't need, we will need one space here, and I can put /n here in the greeting method, and I can try to run this application. And now you will tell me, but we didn't printing anything. By defining this income will be equals to this method or function that will return us an integer, and this automatically will run this method get annual income. Now let's try. I will just move this up a little. Now let me see how it will gonna work. Okay, please enter the customer's annual income. Now let's try, let's entering minus 10,000, and we need to entering again. Let's type minus 500, and it asks us to enter again. And if we enter 3,000, okay, it's good, it's complete. We loop stop, and we didn't define anything else in this program. That means that this income will resolve. Our method works fine, and we defined this variable income. And now we need to do the same thing for, let's define, we need to define other two variables. Time, we need the time, and we need the charge, and also we will do it by using methods. And now we want to define a time. Let's see another function that we need to create. Let's go to the homework. We created, okay, first method we create greeting get annual income, we created, and now we need to create get consulting time. Okay, it will also be an integer. Let's copy this, and let's create here. We can create a method. It will be also again public static will be an integer. And let me see again what we need to create in this method. This method that reads the consulting time in hours and minutes from the user. Okay, we need to input hour and minutes, and the method use essential loop to validate that 0 is less or equal than hours, but hours are less or equal to 5. That means that hours need to be in the range from 0 to 5, and minutes need to be from 0 to 60. It's normal because 1 hour has 60 minutes. Once valid values are read from the user, then the method should convert the hours and minutes to total minutes and return that to the caller. For example, if the user entered 2 hours and 30 minutes, the method should return 150. This is because 2 hours has 60. If we multiply it with 60, it is 120 minutes, and 30 minutes it will return us 150. Okay, now let's create it, but first we need to convert hours in minutes. We already know that 1 hour has 60 minutes. That means that we can create one constant private. It will be a static, and it will be a constant, it will be a final. We will call that hour in minutes. Hour in minutes. Hour in minutes. Of course it is 60, and this will be a constant. And final, it will be an integer. Okay, we created our constant. Hour in minutes, it is 60. And here we need to create a local variables, integer hour and integer minute. Or minutes, whatever you want, you can call it whatever. This is just two local variables. Now let me see how it needs to look like. Okay, when we finishing with income. Okay, first we need please enter the amount of time you spent serving the customer in number of hours and minutes. Okay, let's copy this to save some time. We will use system out print line. Okay, but we will need to separate it a little. Just a second. Let's delete. Let's try again. I will just paste it like this. And serving. Okay, I will separate it here. I will use system out. Just a second. System out. I will use system out print. Use pen serving, and we will close it here and use semicolon. Okay, we use just system out print, and here in the next line we will use we can try to use system out print line for the rest, and let me see how it will gonna look like, but we will see it later. Okay, we have this message: please enter the amount of time you spent serving the customer in number of hours and minutes. And I suppose that we need to type how many hours. Okay, we need to input hours, but we need to input hours until hours can be from 0 to 5. And let's create do while loop. Do while, and let's define this while. It will be until is r is lesser. It will run until hours, but I need to open another bracket. Hour is lesser than 0, and hour is greater than 5. But I think here we will need it. It will not be and, it will be or. And we need to write a message, system out print line, how many hours. How many hours. And we need to input hours. Hours will be equals to input dot next next integer. It will not be hours. The name of the variable is hour. I think that should be good. And we need another do while loop. Now we need to enter the minutes. We need do while loop again, and we need the condition. It will be it need to be from 0 to 60. Minutes is lesser than 0, or minutes is greater than 60. I just need to see this, if I need to see the method. Okay, minutes can be 60. Okay, this is this I wanted to know. I will return to the our Eclipse again, and now let's write the message, system out print line. It will be how many minutes and minutes will be equals to input dot next integer. And now we need to return minutes, but we need to convert this hour in the minutes, and after that to return to add this this number to minutes, and we will have that minutes we will return. Let's redefine that. Minutes will be, let's redefine the local variable minutes will be equals to minutes plus, now we need to multiply hour. We will use this constant hour in minutes we will multiply that with hour. Okay, for example, if we have 2 hours, 60 multiplied with 2 will give us 120, and it will be added to this local variable minutes, and we will need to return minutes, and we will see how it will gonna work. Okay, now we don't have any more errors, and here we need to define it will be a time will be equals, and we will call this get consulting time, and we will see how it will gonna work. Okay, please enter. Okay, we can type 0, and now we have how many hours. Let's type 20. Okay, and it asks us again. Let's type number 6, and how, okay, -1, and if we entering, it can be from 0 to 5. Let's enter the 0. Okay, this is good. Hours are okay. And let's try with minutes. Let's try 61. 61. Okay, it asks us again. Let's enter -3. It asks us again -1. Oh, and let's type 50. Okay, that's good. This is perfect. Minutes can be from 0 to 60, and hour can be from 0 to 5. This means that until now this works perfectly. Let's go down a little. Okay, this means that we can continue with our application. We define our two variable income and time. We define it with these two functions. With get annual income is our income, and get consulting time is our variable time, which is great. Now let's continue with this. Now let me see. Okay, we have these 3 methods we created. Now the next method will be a method named compute charge that receives the customer annual income and the aged consulting time. Okay, we already found this data. We input this data, of course, time in minutes, and return the total charge to the customer. That means, and how we will calculate the charge? We need to go back. We need to go back now. This is important. As you can see, if the customer has annual income that is lesser or equal than 25,000, there will be no charge. Otherwise, if the customer has annual income that is greater than 25,000 and less or equal than 50,000, then okay, I know the point. Let's create the method, and will be compute charge. And we have a float variable which is charge. That means that this method should return a float. Let's create a method. It will be public static. It will be float. It will be compute charge. But one more thing for this method. Now we will return here that this method receives the customer annual income and the agent consulting time. This means that this method requires, of course, we can put this income and time as a static, but of course we will not do that. But we will use we will create this inside this method. This means that we will create two local variables, and we will create it integer e, which should be income, and integer t that will be a time. And let's define our method now. Inside we need to create a local variable, but we can call it as a C, and we can use it as a charge. Okay, it will be a C. Okay, but I don't like, we can call it charge, but maybe it will be difficult for you, but I really hope that you understanding the difference between global variables, which are income and time, and charge. Of course, these are local variables, global variables that we are using in the main method, and this is just a local variables. We will call it C. And now we should return here. Of course, we will not input the charge. Okay, let's define. If the customer has an annual income that is lesser or equal to 25,000, there will be no charge to the customer. That means if income is lesser or equal than 25,000, charge will be equal to 0. And let's write it. Okay, we don't need to initialize this local variable. And let's create if statement. If this E will be income. Okay. If we will define if E is lesser or equal to 25,000, C, which should be a charge, will be equals to 0. But this C will be it's not integer, it is a float, and it will be equals to 0f. Okay, and let's continue. Otherwise, if the customer has an annual income that is greater than 25,000 and lesser or equal to 50,000, this means then the customer will be charged at the rate $1 per minute. Okay, let's write it. We will need else if statement. Okay, if this I is greater than 25,000, but I will use another one more bracket, or and it will not be or, it will be and I is lesser or equal than 50,000, and charge will be $1 per minute. It means that C, this local variable C, will be equals $1 per minute, and we already told that this T will be a time. It will be time T multiplied with 1, and this time is an integer. We will use cast here. We will cast this integer to float. This will be that should return us a float. We just use a casting. It's okay. And now we need third condition. It will be else statement. Otherwise, the customer will be charged at rate of $2 per minute. It is. We will do it with just one else statement. Else. C will be equals, let's use casting again, float, it will be T multiplied with 2, and that should be perfect. And we will just return C. And that's perfect. With this compute charge, we calculated. As you can see, we don't need to input anything. We use local variables E and T. I that should be income, and T that should be time. And we use if else statement. Of course, we created a local variable C, and depending of our income, we defined our local variable C that should be a charge. I use it I, T and C just to have some difference. I didn't want to use these names. I could use the names of the global variables, but I think this will be easier to you to understand. And how we can just use this method to define charge will be equals. Now the name of this method is compute charge. Compute charges, but we have as you can see, we have this E and T local variables, but we will, of course, we can use local variables in the main method. Instead of E, we will use our global variable income, and this T will be a time. And as you can see, with this we will calculate our charge. But we can test it. We cannot test it now. For that we need to create another method. Let's go back to the assignment. Okay, we created 4 methods. The next method should be, let me just see. Okay, a method named display charge that received the customer annual income, total service time in minutes, and total charge. Okay, we will need all of these 3 variables to the customer and display the information in accordance to the following example. Okay, and it should display this. This is interesting. Okay, display charges. This should be a void method. Let's create one void method. We can do it here. Public static void, and it will be display charge. But as you can see here, this chart that received the customer annual income, total service time in minutes, and total charges. That means that inside as parameters we need three local variables, and it will be integer t, integer. We will use again the name t. First we need I, which will be income, t will be a time, and integer c, which should be charge. And now inside we will just need I think that here we will just need to display all of this. We already have all of these three we have all defined. We just need a statement. Okay, I can copy this statement. Let me paste it here. Of course I will have error, and now I will use let me see here how it needs to be displayed. Okay, we will just use 3 times system out print a line. Okay, given the customer annual income of, but here we need, it will be, first we need to close the text and use concatenation plus I semicolon. Let's delete this comma. We will use it now. Let's open the text here. I need that comma. And okay, and the total service of time, service time off. Okay, off. Here we need to finish the text, and instead of this 135 minutes, okay, we need to use plus. We need the time, which is t, and we need to use a plus, and let's we need these minutes, and let's close this. Okay, you can see now, and we will need system out print a line again, and the customer, just a second, I need to opening quotes, the customer charge will be, and we will just closing text here, and here we will need, but it needs to be with 2 decimals. First, before we continue, let's create one static decimal format. Okay, a private static, it will be a decimal format, df as a decimal format equals to new decimal format. And how we will define it? We will define it with 2 decimals. Okay, now we will go back here. Instead of here we will need a charge. It will be plus c, but it will not be plus c. First we need to use plus. Let's use df dot format, and here we will use c. And I think it should be enough. It will not be, because I think that we need one closing bracket. We forgot. And here how it looks like this display charge method. You can see it well. And now we will need to see how it will gonna work. Let's call this method display charge. Okay, we have 3 instead of I it will be income. instead of t it will be time, and instead of c it will be charge. I don't see it here, but okay, we can type it. Let's use control space, and here it is, a charge. And okay, my mistake, because instead here it will not be, I use integer I, integer t, and integer c, and charge is a float. My mistake. And now it will be good. Okay, we can see now how it will gonna work. Let's use Control Shift and F to format this code. Let's use Control and S to save. And now let me see. Let's move this up a little. Okay, please enter the customer annual income. We will type 10,000. We just want to see how many hours. 5. How many minutes it will be. Okay, it will be 20 minutes, and given the customer annual income of 10,000, this comma should be up, and the total service time of 320 minutes. It means, okay, how many hours? 5 hours. It's 5 hours is 300 minutes, and 20 minutes is 320, which is good. The customer charge will be, but 0 is not printed. Okay, let me try this. Again. Just a second. First, this comma. Okay, this is my mistake. This comma should be. Okay, I can use concatenation here, but I will not use instead. Okay, here I will just use print, and after this comma I will use I will use /n here. I think it will be better, and let's try again. And this 0 is not print, but let me see first. Income. Let's type 35,000, and please enter the amount of time spent. Okay, how many hours? 4 hours and 10 minutes. And how it will gonna look now? Okay, we have income of 35,000. And the total service time of 250 minutes. Okay, that means if income is greater than 25,000 and lesser or equals to 50,000, charge will be $1 per minute. And the total we have 250 minutes. Okay, 4 hours 240, and 10 minutes 250, which is okay. And the customer charge will be 250. We could just use, if we can type to this to look more pretty, we can type plus. We can use $sign. I think it will be prettier. And we don't have 0. If let's save this, let's try again. I know income will be 500, hours will be 3, minutes will be 30, and as you can see, but I don't have 500, 210 minutes. Okay, this works. 3 hours is 180, and 30 minutes 210. 0 is not printing, but let me just a second here in the decimal format. Okay, this is we should write 0 before this dot. It will be 0.00. Let's save it now, and let's Let's try again, and please enter the annual income. Okay, it will be 500, hour 0, and 20 minutes. Okay, and okay, this is good. Now this is good. Income of 500, total time service of 20 minutes. The customer charges will be $0. Okay, now it looks perfectly. We just fixed our little our code, and the only thing that we can just separate this a little. We can start with /n, which is perfect. And now what we need to do now, we need a goodbye method, and also we need to resolve continue and stop. Let's resolve first a goodbye method. Here we will create, but here where this function is finished, but let's move down this a little. Just a second, let's move it down. And let's create a method, public static void. We will call it goodbye. This will be goodbye method. And let me see this text, how it will gonna look. Okay, this means, okay, do you want to continue, stop? We will resolve it later. Now let's resolve it. It will be just this. It was a pleasure serving you. Have a nice day. Let's paste it here, and we will just add a system out print line. System out print line. Let's start with text, semicolon, and here we will do the same thing. System out print line, opening quotes. Here we will gonna closing quotes, so we can use interpunction to be better. And I think this is good, and we will start here. We will use /n, and I think this should be fine. And we just need to call this goodbye method here, and I think it will gonna work properly. Let's start again. Okay, let's move this up a little. Income will be less. 75,000. How many hours? It will be 3. How many minutes will be 10? As you can see, given the customer annual income of 75,000. Okay, if we already told, if it's greater than 50,000, that means that it will be charged $2 per minute. Okay, and we have 190 minutes. Okay, 3 hours 180, and 10 minutes it's 190, and the customer's charges will be $380, which is perfect. And it was a pleasure serving you, and have a nice day. This means this works perfectly fine. And we just need one more thing to resolve. This will be, it works perfectly, but after we have displayed our these charges, this statement, we need to have this question: do you want to continue or stop? Okay, we will write it, but we will resolve it in the main method. But here, okay, can accept any format, lowercase or uppercase. Okay, it doesn't matter if or mixed case. The point is any user input other than continue should end the program. This means the program will continue, it will run it again if we entering continue. It doesn't matter if it's a lowercase or uppercase or mixed case. Okay, we will test it. And okay, string, but okay, this first use string to uppercase. Okay, I think I know how we're gonna do this. We will do it in the main application. We will not create a method for that. First that we want to do, let's return to the assignment. I need to move this down. And I just need to return once more just to see the assignment. Okay, this first greeting message. Okay, we have this greeting message, but after we click, after we enter it continue, okay, we don't need this welcome message is displayed once. And if we continue application, it will ask us again for the income. Okay, this is good to know. And let's create it. How are we gonna do that? We will need a string. We need one more global variables. It will be a string, and we need to input that string to enter that. I will call it entry. The name of the string will be entry. And okay, first we need this program will run until if we entering continue. First we need to have that question: will we continue with application or no? And if we enter continue, it needs to run again. We will need do while loop, but this do while loop it will be after these greetings. First this greetings message will be displayed. After that we can create do while loop. And when this do while loop will end, okay, if we entering continue, after that question, if we enter continue, program will run. If we entering something else, we can type stop or something else. The program will end with goodbye statement. And before goodbye, that means that before goodbye statement, loop will end, and we will write while, and the while condition will be while. This means if we entering continue, a loop will run while entry, but it will not be case sensitive. That means will be equals ignore case, and we need just, we will type continue. Okay, here we use a lowercase, and we have an error because first, and let's separate this a little. Okay, we have a greetings method, and at the end we have a goodbye method, and here we have a loop. And before after chargers are displayed. Okay, first chargers are displayed, and after that we have a question: do you want to continue or stop? This is just a question. This continue should be an answer, and we need to copy this. Do you want to continue or stop? And it will be after the chargers are displayed. Here we will use system out print line, and as a text we will have: do you want to continue or stop? And what should we do? We should this entry will be, of course we will input this string of entry, but we already you need to be careful. I already explained in one of the previous tutorial, when we entering integers and after that entering numbers, and after that we need to entering a string. First we need to use we need to use input, which is static scanner, input dot next line before entering entering string. If we just, and after that we need to define entry. If we use this entry without this input dot next line, it will not gonna work. Entry will be equals, we just need to use, if we have application where we entering a string only, or where we need to entering a string first, we don't need that input dot next line. But if we entering some numbers before, and now we need to entering a string, before defining this string we need to type this input dot next line. I really hope that you understand it. Entry equals to input dot next line. Okay, and if it and now we will test it, but first let's use Ctrl Shift and F. Okay, it will looks better. And now let's try to run this. Let's go up, just a second. Let's go up and let's try to run this application. I didn't save, I will do it now. Okay, or we can use it. Let's start. Okay, 43,000. 1 hour and 5 minutes. Okay, given the customer annual income of 43,000 and the total service time of 65 minutes, the customer charges will be $65, which is good. Do you want to continue or stop? Let's try to see if continue. Let's use uppercase to see if it. Okay, it runs again. This is good. We used uppercase. Please enter the count. Okay, it will be 0 hours and 23 minutes, and of course all of the income and charges will be 0. Do you want to continue or stop? We can just I don't know, we can just type error or anything. We will see. As you can see, it was a pleasure serving you. Have a nice day, which is perfect. If we type continue, we tried. Okay, we will try again, and as you can see, we use a caps lock. That means that shouldn't be a case sensitive, and the only thing, I just want to use /n in this question just to be separated a little, but it will be a little n. Okay, let's save it and let's try to run. Of course, we can use now to test the same thing as we had in the assignment. Let's test with this code in the assignment. Okay, -2,000 and 15,000. Okay, let's try the completely the same. -2,000 should ask us again because it is a negative number, and 15,000. We will see if our code works properly, like in the assignment. Okay, and what should we type? Okay, 10 minus 4 and 3. And why 10? Of course, it can be from 0 to 5. 10 should ask us again. -4, of course, it will ask us again because it can be just from 0 to 5. And which number is? I think it's number 3. Okay, this should be good. And now how many minutes? Okay, 75 minus, okay, it needs to be 55, but 75 minus 3 and 55, of course 75, it can be from 0 to 60, minus 3 also can be, and 55 is okay. And that means, of course, the charges will be 0, the same should be 235 minutes, which is okay, and the customer charges will be 0. And now it asks us continue or stop. Okay, and here he used continue with mixed, with just it will be mixed. Let's try mixed. Do you want to continue or stop? We will type continue. Okay, and now we will see if it will work, and it works. It asks us again. The only difference is I did it in the new line, and here it's in the same line. For me, no difference. I think it is better if it is better in the new line, but okay. And now let me see. Now it is 2 hours 15 minutes, and let me see how. And 27,000 is income. 27,000, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Let's try. 27,000, 2 hours and 15 minutes. And what we will get? 27,135 minutes and $135. Let's see if it will work. Okay, as you can see, 135 minutes and 135, it should be dollar here. I think it is better, and this is perfectly, of course it's with 2 decimals. And here we will have 67,000, 2 hours and 50 minutes. Let's and we need here, we need to use continue with caps lock, but we already tested with caps lock. We didn't test it with lowercase. Let's continue with lowercase, and of course it works. I for 67,000 and 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it will give us given the customer annual income of 67,000 and the total service time of 135 minutes is the same. The customer charges will be $270. Let's okay, this works like a charm. Do you want to continue or stop? Okay, we can type stop. And of course, but if we can type any, it will continue run if we entering continue. Otherwise, the program will stop. And just one more thing: if you want in the same line, we can just use print here. In this question, we can use just. I think it's better with print line. Okay, let's try it quickly. 30,000, 4 hours, 10 minutes. Okay, do you want to continue or stop? Let's use with caps lock. Okay, as you can see, continue. Okay, it will ask us again. Okay, we will type I don't know, 60,000 or 65, it doesn't matter. How many hours? 5 hours 50 minutes. Okay, as you can see, it will be how many? Okay, 5 hours it will be 350 minutes, 350, and of course charge will be $2 a minute, and it will be 700. Do you want continue stop? We will type, I don't know, W, and of course it will end the program. And this means that this works like a chart. This works perfectly fine. and I really hope that you understand it. I really try to explain this well. The point is, we define all of this with methods. We complete all the methods step by step. Of course, we have some static elements: scanner, this constant hour in minutes, decimal format. Okay, you saw the assignment. We created methods, all of these methods, step by step, with some local variables inside every method, and we have some void here. And this means that this works perfectly. And of course, okay, I create this goodbye. It doesn't matter how this goodbye method maybe should be the last, but it doesn't matter. I can put it doesn't matter. I could put this goodbye method. I could put it maybe if you just want to be this goodbye method to be. I will cut it, and if you want for this exam to be in order, we can just put this goodbye method here, but it will not change. Let me start quickly. Let's run it. Okay, 30,000, 1 hour 20 minutes. You will see that it works properly. Just if you wanted to this method, because it is important for students for this exam. Maybe the professor will ask us create method step by step. Maybe this goodbye method should be before the main method, but it doesn't matter. It works properly. I really hope that you like this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You have a link in the description. And I will see you in the next tutorial.